Welcome to Riverbend Talent on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Yeah, you can turn it on over there. Oh, geez, I'm running late. Literally running. Literally. I just ran in here and...
Are you out of breath?
I am a little out of breath, man. That's Lolo. Here, step up to the mic there, Lolo.
I'll get over on this microphone right over here.
I'm not in camera view.
No, Pigpen wasn't.
I'm on the right mic.
You got push number 2 to be on.
I can see it bouncing, baby. I can see it bouncing. We're all confused because I just...
He's late, but he's under control.
I'm late, but I came in and ran in, and Dennis says, go over there. You got to go to that side. All right. But we got the show on. It's a few minutes after 6 p.m. in the downtown Riverbend area. What was you going to say there, Lolo? You were off air saying something there. I had to bring you over to the mic.
Oh, I'm just saying that he was cracking the whip as soon as you walked in the door.
Oh, yeah.
I see. I see how they treat you here, man.
Oh, well, when you come in 4 minutes after the show, you get what you get. So, I was listening on the way in. I was checking it out, and I thought, okay, cool. He's playing all the commercials, but I should roll in just in time for the intro to get started, and, I figured we would goof around and start the gigs, and I would load it up, and he's like, no, there's no show. Nothing's happening. I'm like,
See, and I was ready to play Pigpen today, so...
That would have been awesome. That would have been better than Pigpen playing Pigpen.
All right, now let's get down to the real story.
What is the real story?
The real story is I seen you run by the window, and I just wanted to mess with you when you came in. And then you're like, no, stand over here so I can hump you while I load up this interview. And I'm like, no, I'm not letting you hump me while you load up the interview.
Look, I want to have my fun, too.
Yeah, well.
I mean,
everybody's got to have some fun.
Right.
I didn't have any headphones, so you got headphones. I don't know
Excellent.
where mine went. That might be them over there.
Excellent. Look at that. See,
there they are.
I was going without headphones. I was
fine.
fine. So anyway,
this is a crazy world,
Yeah, it was crazy getting here because I knew I was running late as I ran out of the house. I'm like, oh, I'm running late.
Now we're getting down to the truth.
I called Alex. I said, hey, and then I get in the car and there's not enough gas to me. It's just like 2 miles to empty in my van because I'm a slacker. And I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, you can go back to slacker before that part about running late.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all in the name of comedy, folks.
I don't even know. No, yeah, it was. But yeah, it was. I come out of Huck's, and as soon as I pulled out of Huck's, a dang train right there at Humbert and Albee. I'm like, oh, this figures great timing. Great timing.
Yeah.
There you go.
At least you don't live in Granite, where it's like a circle of trains.
Well, that's true.
You ever get trapped down there?
Yeah.
You like leave one train and then you can run into another train. And
I live in Roothouse, so there's a train on 106. There's actually train tracks that run over the highway. So no matter what, if a train's coming, you got to stop.
Yeah.
So this show's about trains and
planes, trains.
And, I'm thinking to myself, how many times have we started this show and this is how we started, right? Because we're not really a radio. We're not really a radio show.
That's why I'm on, because you guys aren't ready.
No, we're ready. We're just not your normal radio show. Have we ever started out normal? Really? I mean, sometimes we do, but just as much as we don't.
It's kind of a loaded question, Dennis.
You're going to have to define normal.
Well,
I really have no idea what we're talking about.
Okay, let me back up and do this. Welcome to another edition of Riverbend Talent. You're listening to a radio announcer talk about Riverbend Talent, who's sponsored by Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Mad Man Force of Macias Insurance and Michael Crider of Farmers Insurance.
There we go.
That's normal, I guess.
Needed to be a little more pukey.
Right. I was trying. But my gag reflex is
true.
in my butthole right now.
I gotta watch out for that.
There we go.
The sea shanty sing-alongs going on down at Morrison's Irish Pub as we talk, and Pigpen still is trying to get the dang interview that we have tonight loaded up. And
I'm loading it.
It's Dibiase, he thinks.
Yeah, it is Dibiase.
Earlier this week, he was saying it was Scott and Michelle. I had to tell him, nope, that's the week after.
Well, I had this great calendar in my phone.
Yeah, well, you're a victim of the...
And then the phone just went kaput.
Phone got smashed.
It didn't get smashed. He was partying.
Well,
So there's way more to that story.
That's how most phones get smashed.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I'm just guessing, but yeah, there we go. So anyway, what else we got going on here, man?
I don't know, man.
We got a 45-minute.
We didn't have time to talk about it.
Yeah,
45-minute DiBiase is a normal thing. So and so is 45 minutes of gigs we got to talk about.
Well, it's heavy.
So I'm
It's
not
hefty.
sure. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking me when you say what is going on. I'm like, don't we do
gigs
this? Don't we do this every week? Or
The gigs look pretty stacked, so you guys have a lot to run through.
Has something changed since last week? I mean,
the position we're in.
Right,
I'm on the
Okay,
wrong
well,
side of the room.
it was only till you loaded the interview, so you wouldn't hump me. I'm just saying.
But I wanted so badly to.
So why is Dibiase on? Because how many bands are all instrumental
That's
in this area?
that's a good question.
out of the 50 that are playing Bushfest this weekend, I'm guessing
Well,
2.
yeah, Lofty's Comet might be one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right, and how many of them are heavy?
1.
Okay. So there can be only one guest for Bushfest,
Like a
and that
Highlander.
is Dibiase.
Well,
And how many are named after wrestlers?
3.
That's what I was gonna say because I saw the post on Facebook that you guys had Dibiase on as a
Yep.
guest. I'm like, Ted,
Yeah.
he's gonna be on.
$1 Million Man.
Yeah,
Coming in.
yes. I'm like, that's a listen too, man. That's a must listen.
We've had bigger wrestlers than him on.
Yeah, Cowboy Bob Orton, who is
Ooh, yeah.
the history of wrestling all in one family.
Nice, yes, absolutely.
Not to mention the judge.
Yeah, the judge.
I'm
Not
just,
to mention Pigpen. You know it's got to be all about him, guys.
I would have said the butcher if I wanted it to be about me, because I took
well.
that guy clean out.
I noticed you didn't bring up the searcher because you never
Maybe
wrestled
small, but
him.
you're fiery.
I don't want to wrestle the searcher.
Right, yeah. But it wouldn't be about you because you never wrestled him.
I actually,
Right.
I
So you brought up the
absolutely-
butcher because you did wrestle him and the judge.
A lot of people don't know
not
it
in
though.
a ring.
I actually roofied myself before that whole butcher thing. Wasn't a real roofie, it was an old lewd I found from a long time ago.
So you're
yes.
complaining a little about starting late. So that we got all this stuff to
I'm
do in a
sorry.
45-minute interview, and we're still.
Yeah,
We're
jacking
still
around.
doing
All right.
nothing.
All right. Well, let's get down to some business here, man. As you said, brought to you by Halpin Music Company for since the beginning. Also, Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance Company, and Michael Crider sponsors Alex HOOKiE, our engineer who puts together the video and records it and everything.
But he
There you
does
go.
not sponsor YouTube. That's illegal.
Nobody does.
No.
Nobody does. So there you go.
Yeah.
Sponsors the
Look it up, man, on the uploads, folks.
There you go.
And, we're a non-monetary site. We decide to be non-monetary so there's no commercials in the video,
Right.
which is a good thing.
Yeah. Because nobody likes that.
No.
Let me try to sell you some.
I'm thinking I'm going to make up an app that automatically
I do got some
skips
stuff
your
I'm trying to
ads
sell.
for you.
I love it.
That would be a cool app
Please.
to have.
That
YouTube
would
wouldn't
be-
allow it after a while because, they got that thing where, hey, if you just pay, you don't get ads.
but then you just like change it every 3 weeks, the name of it to something new,
That's how I do all my torrent downloads. I mean, I don't do that.
Hey now.
I don't think Pigpen's confused. He's like, what's a torrent? What's he
I read the torrent. I studied many things. I once directed a snuff film with Ed Asner in it. Oh, wait a minute. What are we talking about?
Snuff film.
All right, so this is a show called Riverbend Talent. If you're wondering why some people hijack the radio station, they allow us to because we have sponsors like Halpin Music Company, Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance, and so you can blame them if
In case you were wondering what you're listening to. There
you go.
It's Riverbend Talent.
And
We do two things here usually. We other than jack around, we jack around always, but we also interview guests. We got Dibiase coming up. We talked about that, and we get down to what's happening in the Riverbend area. So let's get down to
look,
that.
he's catching his breath. He's like, oh, yeah, we're on the air.
Oh, no, I'm just
Game time now.
I got my game face on, man. I didn't get to pregame the way I normally do, man. It
Oh,
was very
I'm sure you weren't pre-gaming while you were pumping gas. I have never, ever seen you stop pre-gaming. There's not even games in your pre-gaming.
Sometimes it's just pregame and no game at all. So there you go.
So and you can tell, even though Pigpen's the star of the show, I'm the funny one. I am the funny one, right, Aaron Joe? Aaron Joe Paddlefield will tell you, I'm the funny one. He gets all the credit because I put him right in front of the camera.
I'm the eye candy.
Right. Ladies come to see you, Pigpen.
I tried to get him to run for mayor last week again.
Mayor Pigpen.
But-
Could you imagine that? Mayor
here's-
Pigpen of
I would
Alton?
change my name to what?
I don't-
Wanna. Marijuana.
Mayor wanted to see you in his office, which is my joke he just stole.
I will
This is typical of Pigpen, you know.
Show stealer.
And so last week, you know, I'm going on and on about how he got Brant Walker on to talk about, you know.
not.
I know he didn't say that last week.
I didn't even hear you say that last
Like,
week.
oh yeah, I'm the one that started that whole thing down there.
I didn't even hear you say that
Yeah,
last week.
well-
I remember you saying Brant Walker was on, but I didn't hear me, or I would have been like, I wasn't even on that show.
So go back and listen to the replay at
going to.
cottonmouth.org, and you'll see that he was talking directly to me about how, you know, we talked about the amphitheater down there and getting local bands down there.
Hold on. He
And I-
said I was talking directly to him.
I
There was
was-
two pretty girls in
Yes,
the
there
room.
was.
Oh, yeah.
I was
there
not even looking at him. I didn't look. Watch the video. I
Right.
don't even glaze his way.
What was funny is as soon as I said mayor, you hear Sarah McGibney go, nope.
Well, we've set her up that way before.
I was shifting it to Pigpen there, but you know. And then I brought up, you know, how he caused all this stir in the next election because all the mayor candidates are talking, you know, extensively about how we should utilize the amphitheater. And sure, he's like, oh yeah, I did that. You know, total fake news.
Fake news.
Hey, welcome to the spin zone.
Yeah.
That's what this segment should be called, the Spin Zone.
Anything I can spin my way, I'm spinning my way. man.
Now
Spin
we're
zone.
getting down to the truth.
There you go.
You don't
Okay.
become a guy like me without spinning things your way. I mean,
What was
I
the
pull
name of
more
that?
tail than a slow kid at a petting zoo.
Remember that game? Remember that game we used to play at a stoplight?
My wife's like, what? No.
Remember
No,
that
what,
game?
what is the game?
Where
Stoplight.
like the driver gets out and the passenger.
Yeah,
We're gonna.
Uh,
What was that
musical-
called?
musical.
Chinese fire drill.
Chinese fire drill.
Yeah.
You ready for Chinese fire drill?
Sure.
Okay.
And while they're playing Chinese fire drill and swapping microphones, we're just staying on the air because that's what we do.
I really felt like there should have been circus music going on.
Oh, I should have provided background music, man.
Like while we were
Doggone
doing
it.
that.
Doggone it.
Dude, back then we did it to Dawkin. See, I come up with one I knew would totally kill you. Because it's true.
And not only played the Chinese fire drill, but we did it to Dawkins. I'm just saying, like, you know.
Rock to Docking, did everything
Oh,
to
man.
Docking, man. Come on.
Yeah, there, you gotta love, you know.
All right. You feeling better in your passenger seat?
I
over there?
feel way better. I feel like the universe is more in line, and like, can I get 5 minutes out in the parking lot, and then we could start this whole thing over righteously.
Just rewind.
Right.
We're 20 minutes into the show and we're not even
So-
mentioned one gig. I guess I did.
You said sea shanty, so I'm going to go ahead and follow that up with Truckers are playing 7 p.m. at Fast Eddie's up on air.
Thanks for saving us there, Lolo.
Yeah.
Hey,
Have a nice
anytime.
ride home. This is going to be just a fabulous show.
It's,
So.
I'm going to be listening.
I
Try not to
wouldn't.
wreck.
You might want to turn to my mix on the way. No. I'm just teasing. Oh my gosh. Here we go, man. So
As we found out last week, we had 1.5 million listeners.
I think
Right.
we're up to 1.6 now because so many people are wondering what in the hell is going on.
They're wondering where
downtown
Pigpen
Alton.
was. Where's Pigpen? 4 minutes into the show and he's not here.
Where the blank is Pigpen?
Well,
He's where he wants to be. That's
once
the
again,
that's the answer.
You see how it goes. It spins right around the pig bin again.
This is
Spinning
the
it all
spin
my way.
brought to
All
you
right.
by.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's get back into these gigs so we can get down to that Dibiase interview
I'm
because it
trying.
is great. We got open mic night with Everhard and Light out at Bakers and Hale tonight at 6 p.m. We got the Dixie Dudes 7 to 8 at Music in the Park in Bethalto. That is Central Park.
1 second. You
Yeah.
missed open mic at
Ragin
Cajun.
Ragin Cajun.
9 o'clock tonight. Thanks
There we
to Sarah McGivney last week bringing up that was still going on because they were heading down there.
Yeah.
And so I found a totally new Facebook page that's dedicated only to Ragin Cajun's open mic.
There you go.
So now I know it really
now
happened.
you know.
Thank you, Sarah.
We got American Standard. You can use it as a urinal, or you can go see them at 6 p.m. at the Hog Pit in Grafton.
Right.
That's a great name, American Standard.
And that's right. Yep.
I've read it on many urinals. Here we go. Skylark Brothers 6 to 9 at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville. Eric Lysott at Deutz Village Inn. That's 7 p.m. tonight. Lexi Schlemmer 6 p.m. at Unwind Salon and Spa Lounge in Highland. So there you go. I'm assuming that's going to be some relaxing music going on.
Yep, and then Shotgun Creek down in Belleville, Silver Creek Saloon. They do that every Thursday night, and they've got a record out too. So they don't just do covers; they play a little bit of original music.
Nice.
Speaking of that, we were going to talk to Dibiase about a huge festival coming up this weekend called Bushfest. It's
Heck yeah.
Year number 14 for Bushfest. What's it been, like 3 or 4 years now at the VFW?
It's been about maybe 4 years at the VFW now.
Right.
And then there was a few years on Humbert Road.
I ran into a fan of the show, and they said, you know what's cool about Bushfest this year is they have a ton of original music.
Yeah.
And it may be the most I've seen at a Bushfest.
Yeah.
You know, so
Nice.
That's exciting. We'll go through the list of what's happening here in just a minute, but I do want to remind folks that two of our sponsors have big events coming up. The first one's October 3rd. It's the second annual food drive put on by Farmers Insurance and Michael Crider. That's going to be at Wiggler's Bar. It's in Holiday Shores in Edwardsville, and it's going to kick off with the Dead Roses at noon, Little Sister at 2 o'clock, Money Shot at 4, Hicktown at 6, and then Flatliner at 7:30 for that food drive. Just take a can of food up there. That's all you need to do.
Right on.
And some low news about the band Flatliner. They're hanging them up. They're going to retire the band.
Really?
Flatliner, yep. Family first.
All right.
Which, I'm high on because I'm high on a lot of things. But in this case, I'm high on it because that's been Cottonmouth's way to go about things. We always put family ahead of jamming, and you got to do that. And we've talked to several people on this show over the years about how that all intertwines with what these bands do. And at the same time, they're ready to go out there and take no money for charity. And that's what's going on here at the second annual food drive from Farmers Insurance, October 3rd out there at Wiggler's. Also coming up, we're going to be making a live appearance, Big Pen.
Right.
October 9th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Halpin Anniversary's 60th anniversary. And I stopped in, talked to John Hand about who's playing down there for the October 9th show. And it's the Ash Perkins Experience. That's gospel, I believe. Then Fireside going to play at 1 o'clock. And then Age and Treachery, that's a blues rock band at 2 o'clock, and that's Mark Landon's band.
Nice. There you go.
So that's coming up on the 9th. Also, I want to mention that 33 on the Needle has their new release out, Machinery of Loss. Also new releases in the Riverbend, H7 with Lie Alone, and Feel. Remember Tyler Armstrong?
Yep.
They got 2 singles coming out tomorrow.
Okay. I want to mention also that you had mentioned stuff that 2 out of 3 of our sponsors were doing, so let's get the third one.
We
got to
mention that.
Matt Van Voorhis is playing with the Stubblefield Band that same day, October 9th, 7 p.m. out of Bakers and Hale.
Right,
so
yeah.
Stuff going on with all 3 of the sponsors there.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that Matt stops in at the 60th anniversary of Halpin Music, because we talk about this every week. They are the one sponsor, and Matt will tell you this too, that have been with us from the beginning, which inspired Matt Van Voorhis to jump on within a year or so after that. And he's been with us since the beginning, right?
Yeah, since pretty close to it. So.
Right, yeah. And, we need these folks that have been on the show to come out and see us on October 9th, and, our fans and subscribers to our YouTube channel, cottonmouth.org. Come on, man. This is the one we really need you to show up at and show your support for Halpin Music like they've been supporting us the entire time.
Show them a little love for showing us a little love.
Right. So once again, coming up in just a bit, Dibiase, and if you're watching the YouTube version,
Sorry.
feel free to fast forward. I get it. And for all those folks who are going to listen at 1.5 speed, we will now do Friday's lineup for this weekend in a slower voice so that you speed it up. Right. Okay, so I think the first one's wrong, but so we'll skip down
skip down there. All right, we
got
got
pianos at 9 o'clock at Ragin' Cajun on Friday night. The Step Brothers Duo 2 to 6 in Hollywood 5, 7:30 to 11:30 at Fast Eddie's in Alton. Root Diggin' Nation 6 to 10 at Chubbys in Alton. Graham Curry 7:30 at the Lodge at Lovejoy on Friday night in Alton. Lofty's Comet. There you go. There's an original band with horns.
Right.
8 p.m. at Chez Marilyn's Friday night, and last week they had Hayes Bond. So,
that was great.
Thumbs up to Chez Marilyn's. That's some serious original music coming out of there.
Yep.
And we need that. We need more original.
Absolutely.
Well, at least we think so, right, Big Ben?
Right.
Yeah. The Town Criers 6 to 10 at the VFW in Alton. The Owlz out at Bakers and Hale and Godfrey from 7 to 11 on Friday. And then
we got the Bushfest.
Yeah.
That is at the VFW in Cottage Hills. Been quite a few productions out there, different festivals. So if you've gone to more, you've gone to some of them already, you know what you're getting into. If not, go check one out because they are a lot of fun. We have, who do we got here? 420.
We got three stages, yeah. We got three stages.
3 stages.
So the first one's called the Crystal Waters Production Main Stage.
There you go. That is my buddy Mark and Patty coming from Minnesota to run that stage.
Woo!
Tanukis.
Minnesota.
Yeah. What is it? Tanukis. I guess it is. That is at 4:20. That's when it's going to kick off with a band, Tanukis. 5:50 Daisy Chain on that stage. 7:30 the Graham Band on the main stage, and then 9:10 HOOKiE.
Right.
And then Synapses. Wow. Synapses going after HOOKiE there. There you go on the main stage.
Yeah.
The Mojo music stage, you got 5 p.m. Unknown and Sailing. That's Isaac Gruen's band there coming in from out of town. Some boys coming from Missouri. 6:40 Crocodile Kings.
Yeah, that's the drummer from HOOKiE, Ray.
There you go. 8:20 33 on the Needle.
They have a brand new release out called Machinery of Loss.
And then 10 o'clock Ravensmoke, and I believe they're from like the St. Charles area. Mm-hmm. And then we've got an indoor stage. 5:20 Niko. 6:50 Lester, Floyd, and Rueben, although I heard they changed their name back to Crazy Lester.
No, not Crazy Lester. Lazy
Lester. There it is. Yeah, Lazy Lester. 8 Peanut Butter Jam Band. So
actually, I think
that's
it's
8 o'clock. The Peanut Butter Jam Band. I got that after I said it. 8:50 Set Break Sarah's, and then 10:15 Groovy Butter Cakes, which sounds tasty.
Right.
That is all going on at the VFW Friday night Bushfest. There's also a Saturday night. We'll get to that momentarily.
Yeah, that's when Dibiase will be playing on Saturday, and that starts at noon on Saturday, and we'll be getting into that with Dibiase here in just a minute.
Just a few more minutes here. Yeah. We got the Downtown Summer Concert Series with Unbroken 6 to 9 on Ferguson and Wood River Avenue. We got Nikki Lanahan, 8 p.m. at Martin's Tunes and Eats, formerly Chico's in Wood River. Trent Taryn, 5 to 8 p.m. at the Stagger Inn again in Edwardsville. And then Mo Pleasure's going to be doing 6 to 9 at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville.
Dave Gattini, 7 to 10 at the Outlet at Edison's in Edwardsville on Friday night. The Skylark Brothers, 7 o'clock at Global Brew in Edwardsville. Chattahoochee, that's an Alan Jackson tribute. They'll be at the Wild E Theater in Edwardsville. Some local guys there at 7:30.
Then we got Down and Dirty, 11 to 2 a.m. following the races at Tri-City Speedway in Granite City.
So you got dirt races and then Down and Dirty. That's right.
We got American Originals, 9 p.m. at Patrick's in Granite City. Southside Bluesy Boys, 7 p.m. at the Elks in Granite City. Midnight Special, 8 p.m. at Deutz Village Inn, Pontoon Beach, just down the road from Granite City.
Check this one out.
What do we got?
Oh, check this one out. The toilets are back, by the way. But it's this time they're opening up for Puddle of Mud.
All right.
So this is called the Grafton Rally. And they'll have the American Standard at 6. And then Puddle of Mud.
Nice.
9 o'clock at Hillbilly Ranch in Jerseyville, day one. Day one. There's a second day.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. The second day, the headliner, they use a chainsaw in their band. I bet you know who that is.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I believe I.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a minute.
Isaiah Christian, 7 to 10 p.m. at George's local brew in Jerseyville. Then we got Scott and Carl, 6 p.m. at the loading dock in Grafton. Jim on Keys, 6:30 to 10:30 at Grafton Pub.
Okay, they had 2 bands listed on this one, so I'm not exactly sure if it's all in one thing, but Steve Mellis always plays on Friday night with his open mic.
Yeah.
And that's listed on their board, on their website.
Right.
You can see that. But they also have Big Deal Band at 7 o'clock. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out. Maybe they'll have to wrestle for it.
That would be
That's what
awesome.
I would probably, tell them to do.
That would be a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Guess what?
Pat
I seen this guy Sunday.
Yeah, who's
Pat
that?
Liston. You
Pat
heard of
Liston?
him?
Oh, I've heard of
Yeah.
that cat, man.
Was down at the Brown Bag Bistro, caught
Nice.
his entire set.
Yeah.
And he told me to tell you hi.
Awesome. I wish I would have went down there.
He said, well, I know you don't like to hang out with me, but well, And
I was gonna go, then I saw you in the window. I'm like, nope, not gonna do it.
he had no idea who I was until I said I was the guy that was with Pigpen when we interviewed him a year ago, right? And that's completely real news. That is not fake news. And then he said, Pigpen's good people, and he goes, oh, and you're good people too.
Pat Liston is good people.
He is.
So
He's playing at St. George Room in Carlinville
Nice.
on Friday night at 5 o'clock.
Nice.
Borderline, 8 o'clock at Washy's Saloon in Waterloo. Money Shot, 8 o'clock at Sweetwater Saloon in New Douglas. And then Mike Judy, double duty on Friday night.
Nice.
Mike Judy presents David Nail with Carissa Ella and Jordan Sutter. And the High Road, 7 o'clock at Pops and Sage.
Nice.
And then he has another show. Mike Judy presents The City Sleeps in Flames, a 15-year anniversary tour featuring scary kids, scaring kids with special guests, the classic crime plus picturesque, and the Villa. And
Wow.
that's at 8 o'clock at Red Flag in St. Louis. So that's
you
going
go.
on Friday
That is a
night.
big Friday night going on.
It
there.
is, and,
now we got a big Saturday night
We
going
do,
on
man.
too. So let's get on it,
It's
man.
an insane Saturday.
We got the Performing Arts Grab Bag 1 to 3 p.m. and Svound Sound Bath with our friend that does that 7 p.m. That's all going on at Jacoby Arts Center down on Broadway. Then what else we got?
And then thanks to the Owlz, I found out about this because I wouldn't have known any other way that it's happening right in here in downtown Alton on Saturday. The Owlz are playing some kind of 60s street party.
Cool.
They weren't even sure what was going on. But
Hilarious.
somewhere near that one place that we got in trouble for not mentioning once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right
But-
down on 3rd Street there.
Yeah,
So,
right
there we go.
downtown here. A little outside stage.
Oh, here's a familiar name, Gruen.
Yeah.
Kevin Gruen and Friends, 8 p.m. at Chez, Maryland. So there you go.
yeah.
No,
And the Gruens will be in town on Friday with Isaac playing.
Isaac playing,
Yeah,
there you
Unknown
go.
and Sailing. So, man,
a lot of Gruens in town. That
They
way.
should stay for
There you go.
Saturdays, what I'm saying.
There you go.
Check out their nephew, Kevin Gruen. Right?
Yep. Agent 99, 8 p.m. at 3rd Shoot on Saturday. That's the 3rd Shoot in Alton.
Right?
Then we got Thane, Bradford, and Gary Hunt, 7:30 at the Lodge at Lovejoy in Alton. We got a pub crawl with Emo Karaoke, 8
That's a
p.m. at the
pup.
Conservative. Oh, pup. Yeah, you're right. Pup crawl.
Bring your
so I guess
dog.
you can bring your dogs
Right.
with Emo Karaoke, 8 p.m. at the Conservatory in Alton. Go down and take your dog out for a drink.
I've heard through the grapevine that the conservatory is always open to puppies.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Nice.
there you
That's
go.
a good thing to know.
Yeah, the Bearded Bandits 2 to 6 in Hollywood 5, 7:30 to 11:30 at Past Eddie's in Alton on Saturday. The Skylark Brothers at Chubbys in Alton from 6 to 10. Pianos at Ragin' Cajun in Alton on Saturday. The number 4 combo at Baker's and Hale from 7 to 11. And now we're back to Cottage Hills and the
Bushfest. So there we go. We got the 3 stages again. We got the Crystal Waters production main stage. Now, they don't even know it yet because it just happened tonight, but the first band on that stage is not going to be performing due to some members being exposed, having to quarantine. So there you go.
We'll just skip that.
We'll
then.
skip that. 12:50, we've got the Idiot Savants 2:30, Everhart and Light.
There's some idiots in that
4:10,
first
Birds
band.
of Squalor, which I was just on the phone with Chris from them today. What a great bunch of guys they are.
Cool.
Then we got the 5:30, Cricket and the Grilled Avocados. 7:30, Dibiase, who we will be talking to very shortly. And then 9:10, Agents of the Free. And then 11 p.m., 86 Red will finish up the main stage.
Yep.
So next, we
And,
got the Mojo. Oh, go
I
ahead.
just want to point out, in case people have checked out our shows on in the past on the YouTube channel, that 86 Red is Hive Mind on there. So
yeah,
just
they have changed their names. So
right.
There you go.
So there you go.
On the Mojo Music stage, 140, we've got H7, and they've got a new a release out,
It's
correct?
called Lie Alone, right?
And we go 320, we got Fireside. At 5 p.m., we got Liver Jones and the Flatworms.
They've got an original release.
640, Noble.
Mm-hmm.
820, Accidentally on Purpose.
Been a while for them.
Yeah, and then 10 p.m., Biff Gnarly and the Reptilians will finish out the Mojo Music stage.
Nice.
On the indoors, we have 12:30, Omnisonic. 1:30, Autumn Conkle. 2:20, Tim Summers. 3:30, Scott Andrews. 4:40, Little Known Fact. 5:50, Tony Hall. 7:10, Pow Junior 72. 8:30, Bring Me the Fires, and 10, Precarious Situation. That is your Saturday Bushfest at the VFW in Cottage Hills, and Dibiase, who's playing that, we will be talking to here very shortly.
Right on, right on. Also on Saturday, the Screaming Eagles from 8 to 10 at Locke's Brick House in Bethalto. Rustic Roots having their 5th anniversary. That starts at 9 a.m. Money Shot, playing from 2 to 6 in Wood River for that anniversary. DJ Fourth Dimension down at the Franchise starting at 10. Sit Down, Get Downs playing at 4 o'clock, and they're followed by Throw the Horns from 9 o'clock until 1 a.m. at the Pump House in Wood River. And then day 2 of the Grafton Rally with American Standard, which is also a name for a toilet, as you pointed out. And that's pretty funny that they call their band that.
Yeah, it is.
6:15, and then here you go, Saving Abel. Heard of them?
Oh yeah, not in a long time.
Yeah.
though. It's been years. Wow.
7 o'clock. They do not use chainsaws. And
But
but who does?
Jackal.
That's right.
I don't know how it goes. I forget. But Jackal
That's
is
pretty close.
Is that? It's been years since I've heard
Sounded
this
more
song.
like Beavis, but right. Yeah.
So.
And that's at 8:30 at the Hillbilly Ranch in Jerseyville on Saturday.
Isn't the Antichrist born of Satan and a jackal? I don't know.
think the Antichrist was born on Hillbilly Ranch in Jerseyville.
There you go. What else we got going on at Grafton Winery Saturday night from 3 to 7? Strangers Duo.
Not quite night, but I'll go with
Yeah,
it.
there you go.
Right.
Saturday afternoon.
Right.
Saturday evening.
Big day at the Hog Pit, starting with Tripwire at noon,
Nice.
Backwood Burden 4 to 8, and Fireside 7 to 11 in Grafton. Here you go, your
Jake's
buddies.
Legs,
Jake's
7
Legs,
p.m.
right?
at the loading dock in Grafton, and they did a great show down there.
Back-to-back weekends
Saturday.
right here
Yeah,
in our
nice.
area.
Very
Man,
nice.
Nice. Kalen Herr, 2 to 6, and Jake Weber and the Lonesome Drifters, 7 to 11 at the Grafton Pub. Cherry Bomb, 7 o'clock at the Oyster Bar in Grafton on Saturday. Tanglefoot, 6 to 10 at the Gold Bar at Rustic Retreats in Grafton. And the Catfish Willie Duo, 5 to 8 at the Bloody Bucket in Grafton.
We've got the Fall Festival with the Kitchens, 1 to 5 p.m., and Flip the Frog, 6 to 10 p.m. at Wild Pickens Winery in Chesterfield. Bobby Rollins, 2 p.m. at the Foundry in Edwardsville, and then Lexi Schlimmer, 5 to 8 p.m. at Stagger Inn again in Edwardsville.
I messaged Bobby Rollins this week, and he is excited to come on with us in the future. Hopefully, we're going to get that one squared away.
Yeah, nice.
Oktoberfest with, oh boy, Duschmeister. I don't speak German, do you?
Deutschmeister Brass Band.
Thank you. 2 to 5.
And the Poor Dirty Astronauts. Now, that one's easy to
is
say.
there such thing as Reagan or German reggae?
It should be if there's not.
Yeah, because that's the Poor Dirty Astronauts. They play like a reggae thing, right?
Yeah, now it's going to be German at
Right.
Oktoberfest. So that's all happening 6 to 10 p.m. for the Poor Dirty Astronauts at Reese's Brewery in Edwardsville. We
Dave
got
Horton, 6 to 10 at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville, and that Arena Rock Show, 8 o'clock
Nice.
at the Wildie Theater in Edwardsville.
That sounds
Fresh
fun.
Burn, 7 to 10 at Hoodats in Collinsville. Midnight Special back for night 2 at Doy's Village Inn and Pontoon Beach, Cabin Fever at Red's Tavern in Bunker Hill on Saturday. Mo Pleasure, 8 o'clock at Prairie Inn in Dorsey. Beowulf, 8:30 at Timeout in Troy. Worth the Fight in Lolo's hometown.
There you go.
9 p.m. at Two Dogs in Root House. Lolo, give us a report on the Worth the Fight show. I mean, what else
That's
is
Jimmy
happening?
G. That's our buddy Jimmy G's in that band, I think.
What? I don't think so. I think he promoted him.
Oh, does he?
But I don't think he's in it. You might be right.
I thought he actually played in that one for some reason.
I don't know.
He does still play in a few
What I'm
bands,
trying to get at is what else is there to do in Root House, Lolo, except Two Dogs in Root House?
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
I don't know. He's going to have to fill us in. Right. Pat Liston back at it, 3 o'clock, Vintage Wine in Waterloo on Saturday. And Michiganer with guest The Fade, 8 o'clock at the Blueberry Hill Duck Room in St. Louis. And I got that invite from The Fade. And,
there you go.
They're
I
going
like
to be
The
playing.
Fade. They're a good band.
They're going to be playing in town on October 23rd. But I suggest you get over to the Duck Room because, I mean,
that'd be a good show
chance
there.
to see a local group over there is something you may never see again. You never know. So.
Sunday, we've got Anthony Nanny and Company, 1 to 5 p.m., and the Truckers, 6 to 10 p.m. at Fast Eddie's Bond Air. And then we've got Shell Shack, 3 to 7 p.m. at Martin's Tunes and Eats in Wood River.
I was down at Martin's Tunes and Eats in Wood River last Sunday for Shell Shack, and that's an open mic. So if you go down there, they do it from 3 to 7. And if you show up with your band, you can just sit right in with them or your own band set up. And you know who's doing that? Mr. Kenny McPeak is putting that on down there. So
nice. There you go.
There's an update. Big deal. 1 to 5 at the Hog Pit in Grafton. Scott and Carl 2 to 6 at Grafton Winery on Sunday. The Yacht Rockers, where else? The Loading Dock in Grafton. Lead Sled, 7 o'clock at the Oyster Bar in Grafton. Philip Russo 1 to 5 at Grafton Pub. Jonathan Baker 1 to 5 at Aries in Grafton. Dave Horton 2 o'clock at Wild Pickens in Chesterfield. The Stranger Duo is up in Edwardsville at Big Daddy's from 4 to 7 on Sunday. Worth the Fight back at it 4 o'clock at the Marina Bar at Holiday Shores in Edwardsville. Steve Klein 3 to 6 at Red's Tavern in Bunker Hill on Sunday. And next week's guest, Scott and Michelle, 3 to 6 at Deutz Village Inn in Pontoon Beach on Sunday. Looking forward to talking also to the Granite City mayor, right?
Yeah.
So that
On a meeting, find out what it's about.
We're having a meeting.
We are. We're going to see what's going on.
The mayor wants to see us in his office.
The marijuana have a meeting?
Yeah, the marijuana.
So we got Scott Marlin, 3 p.m. at Unwind Spa and Lounge in Highland. Roaming Home, 2 to 6 p.m. in the Hidden Lake Winery in Aviston, Illinois. Headbangers Ball, 2 to 6 p.m. at Third Chute West in West Alton, Missouri. Rogers and Neenhouse, 3 to 7 at the Long Shot Tiki Bar in Portage de Sioux, Missouri. Pat Liston, 2 p.m. at the Boathouse in St. Charles, Missouri. And finally, Mike Judy and The Point present Cleopatra, 7 p.m. at the Old Rock House in St. Louis. Okay, so wow, teaming up with The Point on that one. Good for Mike Judy. Nice, fine job there. So there you go. Hey, it is way late to get into this, but we better jump right into it. This is a band. We've interviewed a band, Dibiase, a couple weeks back. They are going to be playing at Bushfest on Saturday night this weekend. And so here it is. Here is the interview.
One of the members of this band, also a member of Fragile Porcelain Mice.
Dave Winklure.
Once again, get out. Don't forget, thank our sponsors, really. I mean, we need that. And you can check out all three of them live in October 3rd. The Farmers Insurance Food Drive, 2nd annual, with the Dead Roses, Little Sister, Money Shot, and Hicktown and Flatliner. Right, October 9th, the 60th anniversary of Halpin Music. And that's with the Ash Perkins Experience. Fireside at 1 o'clock in Age and Treachery, and the other one was Matt
October
Van
9th. October 9th, Matt Van Voorhis will be playing with Stubblefield out at Bakers and Hale in Godfrey.
So plenty of opportunities to get out and thank our sponsors, and we really want to see you on October 9th.
There you go.
And Pigpen, you're going to be there, right? You're not going to be late,
I
right?
will probably be way late, but I'll be there.
Gas up now. All right. Hopefully it'll last.
I doubt it.
Yeah, all right.
All right, here it is, Dibiase.
Riverbend Talent on the Big Z, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company, Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance, and Alex HOOKiE, brought to you by Michael Crider. He's the sponsor of Alex.
Farmers Insurance.
He's working on it. Alex is. Thanks to Michael Crider.
Alex has his own sponsor?
Wow. Big time, Bill.
Yeah,
Big time.
congrats.
You're killing it here.
Man, so, wow.
Yeah. That's Dave Winkler
That is the voice of Dave Winkler.
from
We're gonna say it
Fragile
properly.
Porcelain Mice, but tonight Dibiase.
Right. More importantly, Dibiase. I'm still stunned that Alex gets his own sponsor,
Right.
though. We're gonna table that for now, but I think we're coming back to
We'll
that.
circle back around
All right.
to that later and how
Okay.
that happens. Believe
Okay.
me, this Michael Crider guy, we got him so drunk.
Clearly.
we just kept feeding him liquor, and he's
Yeah.
like, I'll sponsor anybody, even a HOOKiE back there.
Let's be clear. I know where the talent is, and it's sponsored in the correct place. I'm just saying. I'm trying to figure out how he got his own
Well,
sponsorship.
because you're a bass player and you're used to being ignored.
It's a
just
great
like Alex,
point,
right?
and there's no question that that's true, and that's why I will talk way too much this evening because I have a microphone.
They don't give you microphone.
Oh, on purpose. Oh,
They just don't turn it on.
No, yeah, exactly. Is this thing on? No, it's the same answer every night. The answer's no.
Also from DiBiase, David Goodman here.
Hello,
David M. Goodman,
M.
right? That's,
Yes.
That's what the vinyl says.
Son of John Goodman,
Formerly of
cousin of Benny Goodman.
formerly of one of my favorite local bands, Marine Cicada.
Yep.
Way back to what
Yeah.
was that, 2005 or something?
Old school.
Yeah,
From
way back.
started in '97. I think was our first show. Oh my gosh. Was at a little bar in Troy, and like they had no clue. I don't think we had a clue either.
I was
But
going to say, did they have a clue in '97? Yeah, right. Yeah.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
I said 2005. That's when DiBiase was formed. I got that
Yeah.
mixed up.
Yeah, I mean the early on, it probably even predates that. I would say 2001 was like the first incarnation of that, and it was actually just me and a friend of mine, Dave Miller, and we just had some acoustic songs, and we came up with this tuning, and it was kind of different. So we just tuned our guitars and started messing around. Then we kind of moved it to electric and added some effects and stuff like that, and took off. And then kind of started jamming with a drummer. And then it just, after many bong hits later,
Yeah.
here we are.
Was the intention to be instrumental the whole time?
I think so. I don't know if we ever really had any like definite plans on doing stuff. Mostly it was just kind of, I think really what it was, I think we were at a New Year's Eve party one night, and we were all together, and we're just like drunk, like, let's start a band and just be like droney, heavy, like, let's just like, just go for it. And I was like, okay, let's try it out. And then just kind of, after many attempts, like, just kind of like took form, I guess.
Like
kind of,
maybe some Jurassic Thunder rock.
yeah. It was all kind of like revolved around the tuning. At that, like, that's kind of like what the band was behind at that time. It was just like, let's just try this tuning, and it was like, it's kind of like it's tuned like a harp. So I think it was like taken from like a Turkish tuning, actually, from like kind of like one of their instruments. It was like much like a guitar or whatnot. It was just
in Turret.
yeah, just down tuned and kind of like a the actual tuning itself for the guitar is actual chord. So
Right.
It's completely backwards.
At least on the bass, right? It's fifths
Yeah.
instead of fourths,
And I-
right? So
yeah.
it's just So it's like it's inverted, right?
So you're changing you're changing the tuning style of each not 440 down to 430 to 442 or 438, more the style in which each string is individually tuned.
Yeah,
Right.
We went straight to 420.
Went straight to
We had 420 a couple times,
greatest tuning ever.
but it just it kind of it was interesting from playing guitar for so many years, and then taking this like drastic approach to playing the same instrument, but it's almost like playing it backwards.
Well, and I can tell you just like, because I came into this obviously much later after this was very well established, though, and it is bizarre. Like I joked with Dave, this is kind of how I even joined, but it's like so he and then Lynn, the drummer, were playing a show, and I was out seeing them, and they were just playing as a two-piece at that time, because pretty much like right after the record was released. Chandler and Mark left the band, so Dave and Lynn were doing this 2-piece, and and I probably was like had been drinking or something, and I was like, hey man, I'm just gonna bring my bass, to your next show, and I'm just gonna play, because I'm thinking that I can do this or something, right? And Dave, and Dave, like typical Dave, just goes, okay man, cool, yeah, do that, because he knows I totally don't know what I'm talking about, and so I show up, and I get together with him for practice, and he's like, okay, well this is kind of how it's all tuned up, and I'm like, okay, well that makes more sense, because I'm trying to listen to some of these tunes and like trying to learn them in standard. I'm like, I do not know what's going on here. So and then it's pretty much, but what is kind of crazy, right? Because playing in standard tuning for so long, and like even like the other bands I played in, we didn't do a lot of D tuning or anything. I mean, sometimes I'll do a drop D, but that's all. I mean, pretty standard tuning, and yeah, it's like, playing in, it's at least, and I don't even know what you do on your higher strings, but it's like on those low strings, it's in fifths instead of fourths, and it's backwards, but it's still not even as easy as thinking about it as backwards, and it's like, so for the longest time, it's like it's like being like a junior in high school again, where you're just like watching the guitar player, like just following it, like just following patterns. Like I'm like I have no idea what notes I'm playing right now. I'm just following this pattern, and it's pretty wild. But it is super fun because it does take, like, especially if you are kind of like in that rut. So I mean, I know how you totally arrived there. You kind of like, I mean, not like I'm like the greatest player, but it's like you play long enough, right? And you're kind of like, all right, I got an idea of at least what this instrument is. I'm not saying I've taken it to where it can go, but I got an idea of this.
Bootsy Collins.
No, I'm definitely not that, dude. In style alone, I'm not. But it's just like, but then you just do something as crazy as just mix that up like that, and it's just like, and then decide to try and play a whole set of songs like that, and it's just like, wow. And then you kind of play it like a regular guitar, and now you get brand new songs because the tuning's all different, and all of a sudden you start getting these songs and these different chord progressions, and it's awesome. It's very fun.
That's one of the great things about music, though, is that it's how much do you want to put into it? Do you want to learn how to play G, C, and D and play songs all day? Because you only need 3 chords to play songs. Right. Or do you want to go to Frank Zappa level? Do you want to go beyond that?
Right.
It's almost never ending. There's never a point where you go, that's it, I'm done. I've learned everything about music.
Right.
Because, as you say, there's all these tunings to mess with.
Sure.
There's all these Mixolydian scales that nobody likes to play.
Right.
Play more Mixolydian
I mean,
scales.
yeah. It sounds kind of funny, but like in this tuning, like especially for bass, like at that point it's kind of tuned like a cello.
Right.
Like I don't know if you ever played a cello or anything like that. So it's basically fifths, but on guitar it's like there are no scales. Like if you can figure out a scale, then good luck, because I've been doing it for a long time, and like I still stumble upon stuff. I'm like, well, that's interesting. Like it's like playing guitar backwards, so to speak. Like there's no, like when you're ascending, like you want to travel down and up at the same time. But with this tuning, it's like traveling down and backwards is ascending.
And on bass, it's brutal because I mean the whole thing is you figure over hundreds of years or whatever of stringed instruments, the reason they tuned them that way is because you can play it in a hand position, right? Or move around slightly. This playing in fifths stretches the whole fingerboard out, and then on bass is doing these monster stretches and trying to do these runs. That's what's fun about it too, because it's just super challenging trying to do some of the he's ripping them on guitar or whatever, and I'm trying to double them, and I'm like my hands. It's not that big. It doesn't do that, So yeah, so my tiny hands can't do that. Yeah, right. So right, but it's super fun. It's awesome.
So first EP was released in like 2011, something like that, called "Here Comes Forever."
Yeah, 2010, I think, is whenever we originally recorded it. That was really fun too. Actually, just kind of revisited those memories from not too long ago. We kind of started off early with like different members and stuff like that too, and then we had maybe like 4 songs or something, and then one of our good friends, Eric Abert, was in Ring Cicada. He was the bass player. He moved away and then ended up coming back in town, and they had a Hum reunion show that was at the old Rock House. So talking with him that day, and I was like, "You gonna go to the show?" "Yeah, I think about going to the show, whatever." Well, let me call Chris Green, which was their manager at the time, to see if he could get us on the guest list or whatever. So he calls me back like 5 minutes later. He's like, "Dude," he's like, The lead singer from the opening band is sick. Like he was throwing up on the drive down. They turned around, like they need an opening band. Like you got to do it. And I'm like, dude, no way. Like we're not ready. Like we can't do that. Open up for Hum at the old Rock House, like 1,200 people. Like we've never even played one show. So it was funny because like I'll never forget this. He was just like, he told me, he's like, dude, he's like, you got to pull your socks up. He's like, you got to do it. He's like, get your boys together. He's like, get down there. He was like, I was like, okay.
Like an hour or something like
We had like an hour to do it. And, actually, the other guitar player at the time, Nathan Sander, which is an Alton ex-maniac, he was actually playing golf when I called him. He's like, well, I'm on a work golf thing. I'm like, dude, get out of there. Like, you got to meet us down there. He was like, yeah, I was like, you got to get out there. And then it's funny, everybody was just, okay, let's do it. And we all met up and loaded our stuff and headed over there. And it was just really surreal, and pulled into the space, and there was a line of like 100 people waiting to get in. It was just like, oh, here comes the butterflies. It was like, oh my gosh, here we go. So
Which way's the restaurant?
right. So we ended up playing the show. We did awesome. The guys from the band really liked it, and we got approached by Matt after that. He was like, I really like your sound. I'm really into it. Maybe you think about coming up and recording at my studio. And then 6 months later, here we are recording at his studio. And he was like, I really like it. And he's like, I might want to put this out. I think I'm going to start a record label. I was like, you're just for us or just for what? He's like, no, I've been thinking about it, but so that's kind of how it came to fruition from there.
Have you met him before that, or was that?
Yeah, I've met him a couple of times before that. We've seen him play. Ring Cicada used to do some small tours with Shiner. So like whenever we'd play Champaign, like a lot of those guys would come out to see the Shiner show, and we just kind of got to know each other. And we were lucky enough to actually go back to the studio, his studio, and like spend the night. Like he was like just super cool about stuff like that. So
It's a Earth Analog Studio.
yeah, it was Earth Analog.
Was that Tolano?
Tolono, Illinois, yeah. It used to be called Great Western, which was the street that it's actually on.
I think I heard about it on Hee Haw once.
Oh, yeah.
Tolono, Illinois. Hee-haw, salute. Population 450.
Oh, 449.
Salute.
So we, that's kind of got kind of the ball rolling and stuff. And then lucky enough, we were able to play a few shows with Hum out of town, stuff like that around there too. Their drummer just passed away a few days back, which is, Brian was a great guy.
Right.
So he'll be missed for sure in the music scene, and which is a real bummer.
Yeah, yeah. And we're recording this, what is it, July 8th? Right.
July
Just in case
8th we're recording
you'll
this.
air
This won't be played back until closer to the Bushfest, which you guys are going to be playing at Bushfest.
Yes.
That's happening out at the VFW in Cottage Hills on Friday, September 24th, Saturday, September 25th. And this is, I don't know how many Bushfests. There's got to be the 10th annual.
What did he tell you what it was?
I thought he said it was over 10 years.
Yeah. It was got to be 10 or 11 at least, because he started up on his little house on Eugene Street, up
In
on
the bowl.
State Street, and in the bowl. It was a big bowl of a yard. He had a few there. Then he moved out to Humbert Road for a few years, and finally settled here at the VFW, which is it's become the festival place around here. This summer's had 4 nice festivals. Happy Trails was the 3rd. Bushfest will be the 4th one out there this year.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay.
a great place to get out and see a lot of music. You guys are scheduled to play, you believe, the Saturday, the 25th.
We're thinking, yep.
Yeah.
And
A little early,
we're
but-
still far enough out that some of this may change.
For sure.
But
We'll
because
fix
we're-
that.
Yeah, but
We'll fix that in post.
right. We'll
Yeah.
fix that. So,
Right.
we're going to go ahead and call it Saturday.
Alex is going to earn that sponsorship money on that.
So that's Saturday, September 25th, somewhere around between the 6 to 8 p.m. time is what a little birdie
Yep,
told
I
me.
believe so.
Okay, yep.
We'll find out.
Yep.
Have you guys haven't been on the Bushfest before? have you?
Nope.
So it's a fun festival. Just started as a backyard festival and has grown over the years. And they pack a lot of music in.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
the 2 days. So be prepared. You're going to see a lot happening.
Oh, that's awesome. No, those are fun to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of bush.
You guys fit in good in that type of format, though, because you're usually a short and sweet set.
Yeah. Well, it's because I'm still relatively new and I only know like 5 songs. So, yeah.
If you want us to do a 6 song,
told
you gotta
you.
repeat one of the others.
Right.
I told you basically it's like it's just like, did you guys really like that one 5 minutes ago? It's good because you're gonna hear it again.
Right.
Did you like it when we played Wild Thing at the beginning? Because we're gonna end with it too.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not. Don't be embarrassed by it. Willie Nelson always started with Whiskey River and ended with Whiskey River.
It's
He
pretty-
would play
it's pretty
about
smart.
42 songs in between
Right,
there.
right.
But he would start with Whiskey River and end with Whiskey River.
Start with Smells Like Teen Spirit, and then your fans that just only are there for they leave.
Yeah. But,
Right.
but I'm gonna play it again. So
I'm gonna play it
don't
again,
leave.
and probably play it better because
I'm warmed up.
because I'm terrible on the first song.
Right?
Right.
And I'm terrible at playing the vinyl.
I ain't too good on the last song either, to tell you the truth.
It doesn't get a whole lot
It doesn't get much better.
I feel warmed up. I just don't play like I'm warmed up. That's all.
Just not very good.
But I'm going to disagree. You played with frozen chicken juice melting on you and survived.
It was turkey and it was
chicken turkey. I don't know. My non-flying birds, they're all the same.
So apparently,
I think Frozen Chicken Juice was one of your old bands.
Actually, that's what I thought. I thought that's where you were going. I was like, I don't remember that band, but it's possible. I don't know.
So you can get my album from Frozen Chicken Juice on frozenchickenjuice.com.
Oh, hang on one second. Let me plug that. Yeah, right. That's awesome.
Right.
No, that you were on. Where was that? Mississippi Nights.
It was Mississippi Nights.
Mississippi Nights.
It was terrible. Yeah.
Somebody decided.
I think I had salmonella from
Wednesday
that show.
before-
Yeah,
the
it was
Wednesday
gross.
before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was
like
gross.
an annual thing for you
It was
guys.
gross.
Oh, wow.
Well, that was with the urge. It was the urge.
Urge.
The urge. So the urge like thought it would just be. They thought it would be funny to hang chickens by these huge like jack
Chickens.
chains or
See,
what?
now
Oh
you're
no,
doing
turkey. Yeah, they were turkeys.
Ostriches. Let's just say ostriches.
What is the bird that you eat at Thanksgiving? I
Yeah,
don't
I
remember.
believe
No,
that's
but it's like
ham.
yeah. Sometimes it's ham and sometimes it's delicious.
Ask
But
Ben
it's
Franklin.
but yeah, no, but it was and it was like for some reason they decided to hang these turkeys and it was obviously it wasn't the LED light days. It was the old can bulb lights and those things that got to it was probably cooking those turkeys. It was so hot.
264 bars.
So these things are like they're melting and just creating like this sludge and like taking up the years of dirt that was on that Mississippi Nights stage that it was just like seeping and it was pretty disgusting.
How slick was that?
So again, I don't exactly know how that makes me a competent player in any way.
Because anyone who can play with that much salmonella.
I see. I may have blacked out in the middle of that show.
Anyone who can slide across chicken juice and still keep playing, still somehow hit the one.
We're gonna just stay with frozen chicken.
Why
I
not?
think. Yeah,
Poultry.
let's just go
Just
with that.
poultry.
Yeah, just
basic
some
poultry.
sort of poultry. That's
So
funny.
the EP was called Here Comes Forever. That was recorded up there then in the same place you guys recorded the second release, which
Yep.
is When Everything Means Nothing.
Yep.
And that just come out on vinyl, right?
It's been a couple years, but yeah. It was kind of
Well, the way you produce them, they can come out any day.
right for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, I think it was just the first one was a digital thing, and we had thought about doing a 10-inch of the first one too, but it never really came to be. So we just did like a regular disc EP. And then when the second one came around, I think he was a bit more pumped about it. So he wanted to kind of really do like just an all 100% analog product.
Right.
So there was no digital conversion whatsoever. It wasn't the cheapest by any means to put out. So the mixing and mastering was a big part of that too.
Right.
There was only really two places in the U.S. that do all analog mastering, and one of them was Sterling from New York City.
Right.
So the way they set that up was kind of strange. I really wanted to go up there with him whenever he took the albums up there or whatever, but they have, I guess, two different mixers to where they will mix song 1 on one and song 2 on the second one, and then while the lathe is cutting, like after song 1 is done and song 2 comes, they set the first mixer up for song 3.
Wow.
So they get that ready, and they're just like, okay, these knobs are here, this is going here, okay, all right, and song 2's almost done, and after that one's done, then they go over to this one, and then after that fourth one, that's a side. So they're okay, they're
the
cool.
lathe never has to stop.
The lathe just goes
wild.
completely all the way through.
Wow. That's
And if they mix up the mix on the fifth song, they got to start all over.
They get to start
Go
over,
back
I
to the
guess,
beginning.
Right.
That's crazy.
So that's Sterling Sound in New York.
Yeah, Sterling in New
Ryan
York.
Smith that mastered that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what the notes say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I wish I would have went to get the full experience, but he actually sent me some cool pictures, and it made it on the liner notes that he put inside our album too. So that's kind of neat. So
Yeah, and speaking of putting together the actual package,
Mm-hmm.
you do most of that by hand, right?
yeah, so the actual artwork was commissioned from a guy named Sean Beaudry. He was an artist from Savannah, Georgia. I kind of discovered him on Instagram. Just like you find every other good artist on there, just putting out some really cool stuff that was different. So we had this idea of kind of like almost apocalyptic type thing. So the initial idea was kind of a set of rolling clouds coming in. Then there was like 4 horses coming out of the clouds that were kind of decayed or whatnot. So I kind of pitched that idea to him, and then we were throwing some ideas back around, and then he came up with this circular pattern that was kind of like life to death type thing. And then we kind of went with that. I thought that was really cool. And then, when everything means nothing is just kind of, it's almost apocalyptic in its own right. It's like whenever shit hits the fan, it's like you just have to deal with it, It's almost, in my mind, it's like, you're laying in bed and your house catches on fire. You're going to run out of your house, but you're going to try to grab everything that you can pick up that's dear to you and hit the door, So, like, when everything means nothing, like all the rest of it might be replaced, it might not be replaced. So,
But not only the artwork did you guys do, but the actual packaging
Yeah.
by hand as well.
Yeah, so
With the
then-
screen print.
took the liberty of actually screen printing the jacket itself and then the liner notes on the inside. I just kind of took the artwork that he gave me, put it all together, put a little magic on it, and then took it from there, and then ended
Is it
up
magic coffee.
in coffee. There was a little bit of coffee involved, yeah.
That's not big news, actually. You use coffee to help with the art.
I did. Just brewed some really strong coffee and took a sponge and kind of dabbled the edge of the jacket itself. It's kind of like what they call tag board, which is kind of like the craft paper-ish looking feel to it. So you just get some coffee and boil it down and get it kind of a little bit thicker, and then take a sponge and just kind of wet the edges and stuff like that. And basically it's just antiquing the product. So a couple of them turned out really well.
Yeah.
So whoever's got those out there, I want them back. It was pretty painstaking, like I just wanted to put out something that was like a little bit beyond compared to, like having good music on there, but not only that, like having like a good piece of artwork.
Yeah, and I can tell you just from all the other stuff that I've done, right? It's just like, and I didn't even play on that record, but it is cool playing shows and having that that level of merch. I mean, it's beautiful just to look at. I mean, it sounds great, and I can say that because I wasn't on it. I mean, it sounds great, but it is also just beautiful to look at, and it's one of those things like sometimes. You drop $20 on a CD and you're like, okay, well that music better be really good. But I mean, on this one, it's just like like I said, the music's solid and the artwork's beautiful. It's like you're just sort of like, yeah, this is awesome. You don't feel bad.
That's the thing now too. Is like the sign of the times. Like you go out and buy your favorite band CD at the show, and you go home, and what do? You download it to your computer,
right?
And then you have it on your iPod, and then the CD gets trashed or used as an ice scraper for your car or whatever. But with vinyl kind of making a comeback, it's different, like having an album that you can hold in your hand, and it's like it's got some weight behind it. It's like sounds good, so it's like an artifact at that point.
And the kids today don't understand what albums are.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Our generations grew up buying albums, going home and listening front to end. You didn't just listen to the hit song or what you heard on the. You listened to the whole thing. You read the liner notes. You
Freaking
looked at
ritual,
pretty
much.
Totally. When you
Smelled
bought
it,
an album,
you
you
pulled
went.
it out.
Oh yeah. There absolutely was a smell to them. I mean,
It smells like coffee.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Some of them do.
Yeah.
I bought one in the '90s that smelled like Teen Spirit.
Oh, yeah.
It's a stretch and sniff.
I don't think you're allowed to say
vinyl
that.
out, and it's in the sleeve
Yeah.
with all these liner notes and stuff that happened during the recording, or possibly lyrics, whatever they decide to do.
Oh no, it was anything like sometimes you just open one and you're just like, there's a poster. It's like you didn't know it was necessarily going to fall out of that thing. Sometimes like when you opened it, it was fun. I mean, it was
The old Cheech and Chong album that came with a giant rolling paper.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Giant rolling papers. I'm using this with his bed sheet tonight.
Then I remember the more they mass produced those, you
Right.
eventually got to that piece of like wax paper that it was stuck in here. It's like, oh man, not this.
Right,
You know,
right.
You try to stick
Right.
it back in there and it all curls.
Yeah.
right.
Like,
There's
The 10 I got for free in Columbia House for a penny. It's like, oh, these aren't what I thought I was getting. Yeah.
But that was all part of it, right? You know,
Yeah, for sure.
Not just hearing a song,
For sure.
but experiencing
It was an
art
experience,
and
yeah.
everything that goes
Yeah.
around it. So
Yeah.
that's really cool that you
Right.
guys did
Yeah.
that. I'm sure
So-
you look forward to something like that your whole life.
Right.
You know, wanting to produce something.
Even with the last one, like you were saying, like doing that, like there is liner notes that are on the inside. It is its own piece of artwork. So it's 8.5 by 11. So you can actually put that in a frame and then frame that as like a small poster. And then on the other side, it's just got the liner notes. It kind of like breaks down like the album and all this other stuff.
Yeah, that used to be how we found out
Right.
about bands.
Right.
Right? It
Right.
wasn't in a magazine. It was actually on their sleeve or
Right.
something that you read, right? Who's this guy that keeps mixing all these albums I read about, you know, on the back of these things? And
Rick
you look,
Rueben?
Right, exactly. Yeah, man,
So there you go.
congratulations on that.
Dibiase putting out the real deal there. The full
that-
weight vinyl with all the
Yep, 180 grams.
180 grams. I'll take one or two.
Yeah.
How much are they a gram? No. What are we talking
I can break it
about?
down.
Albums, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
180 grams of vinyl is what we're talking about there.
it's $1.20 a gram.
you gotta bust it down. Okay. So,
That was a different lineup, though. We mentioned it a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if we did that pregame or during this interview,
Yeah.
but Dave didn't play on
No,
that one.
I'm not. No.
Len did, though.
Yeah, Len did. Len was on both the EP and the full length.
and we can totally make fun of Lynn because he's not here.
Right.
That's exactly right.
He'll never hear this.
That's Sipel, right?
Yeah,
That's
Sipel.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny what they did with the record. They come up with a name, initial, and then the last name, right? And usually the initial is the guy's real name, and the first name is a name, right? So in
Punky
Lynn's,
Brewster M.
Yeah.
right?
Suppo- no,
In
no.
Lynn's case, it's Christopher L. Sipel.
Well, no, but that. Yeah, he is
That-
though,
yeah,
right?
that's
that
truly
that
his
one's
name for
legit.
sure,
That
yeah.
one's
Dave's
legit.
is right.
Huh?
Yours is right.
Yeah, mine's right for sure.
I think they're picking on the two guys that left.
David and
Maybe they're
Goodman.
just.
Right. Maybe this is why they left.
Right?
It could be.
So there's Mark E. How do you say that name?
Cage.
Kane.
Yeah.
Right. And then Marie C.
Evans, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So that was the lineup for that. So you really
I don't know any of those guys
right?
except David.
Yeah, and that ended up being kind of a thing too. Like we had a little partnership with this guy who had a vintage guitar shop in Collinsville, and he ended up making like some small boutique amps or whatever. And he was a fan. He'd come out to see us play and stuff like that. And he would always call Chandler Maurice because he found out his middle name was Maurice.
Okay.
So he was always Maurice, hey man, Maurice, you know, this and that. So it was kind of it's like, okay, we're gonna go with Maurice because that's interesting, you know.
I like how they made the C look like an L on Mark's name. So it was Marl.
Yeah, Marl was
Right.
another nickname from who knows where, but I'm sure it was a good time.
Pronouncing his
Yeah,
name one guy.
if we remembered it, I'm sure it was a good time.
You guys don't forget anything.
Yeah,
That's what I have.
we had
That's
some.
what I have learned.
We had some
It's
fun
ruthless.
times. Yeah, for sure.
And we're going to have some fun times out at Bushfest. That is September 24th and 25th. Dibiase playing, we believe, Saturday the 25th,
Yep.
September 25th, somewhere between 6 and 8 p.m. And the rest of the Bushfest lineup is smoking too, as always. So you guys going to finally dip your toes into the festival scene around. Well, you played Rock the Hops Fest, actually, a few
We did.
years
Yep,
back.
yep,
So you've always
yep,
sort of...
yeah.
But you took a few years off.
Right.
What the heck, man?
A lot of people took last year.
Something happened.
Does that really
I don't know
count?
what.
Just-
Let's,
No.
But there's a video of that performance from Rock the Hops.
There is some a piece of that, yeah, and there is a
About
wild
32
laser
minutes.
show going on there or something.
In the middle of the day. It's
Yeah.
like noon on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean that dude was. I don't know who he was into it though. I mean, it was he was into. I mean, I give him credit because I mean, there's a lot of guys that go do those things that are just collecting the check and you can't get them to hook a mic up. This guy there was a light show going and everything. It was amazing.
I think they may have told us to turn down.
Well, I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's every show.
I just always picture Huey Lewis and Back to the Future, like with a megaphone.
Yeah.
Like, you're just too darn loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that bottle and barrel before it became a conservatory.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was into him when he first started. It was Huey Lewis and the Jews.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
They sang that sign, "Don't need money," and the whole band quit is what I heard. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if any of that's true. I'm sorry.
I don't
know if that's
remember
true or
Adam
not.
Sandler mentioning Huey Lewis in that song, so I don't know if that's true.
So there you go. We are talking to Dave Winkleur
Thank
and
you.
Dave Goodman of Dibiase. Lynn Sapoli is absent.
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Lynn Chipotle.
Poor
I
Lynn.
can say whatever I want about Lynn.
I
He's
think-
not here to protect himself.
No, it's the danger of not showing up.
But
So
have
it's
you
the only
seen
reason
that
I'm here.
animal play drums? I mean,
I
just
have.
think if he turned loose on you, buddy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it now when he's not here.
It's a good point.
And
It's a
when
good
he's
point.
here, I'll be like, "You are the greatest, Lynn Sapoli."
He'll forget anyway by the time. You'll be fine. You'll be all right.
So there you go. You guys, again, coming out to Bushfest on the 25th. Can't wait to see the show. It'll be the first time I've seen you since down at the Bottle and
Yeah,
Barrel.
Bottle and
you
Barrel,
played,
yeah.
So looking forward
I think you
to
were in sound for us at that, right?
I'll
Yeah.
be running sound for you again.
Cool. Is that right? Oh, very
There you
good.
go,
Okay.
man.
All right. Okay.
I will be there all
And
day.
it's outside, so we can be loud, right?
As far as I know. Till the mayor comes. Cottage Hills don't have a mayor.
No.
All they got is a fire chief or
Right.
something.
The
So
fire
I can
chief.
deal with that guy.
Fire chiefs love loud music, I think.
Right.
I think we'll be fine.
I think their like protocol goes like fire chief is the top and then postmaster
Right.
second. So
Well,
gotcha.
I could take either one of those guys out in a fair. Probably not the fire
They have a
chief.
No, not fire chief. No, I wouldn't fight that.
They'll have the lawn chairs out at the fire station listening.
They'll be
It's not
listening.
far away.
They're
No.
right down there.
Yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
that's good. All right.
You guys
Well,
want to
look-
start a fire?
There will be-
Oh, there will be a fire
Bushfest.
after the show.
And
There will
friggin-
be-
that music's fire.
There'll be multiple small fires.
going on during Bushfest. That's one thing that
It'll be embers.
I can't remember any Bushfest I've been to where I didn't like start laying bets on whether the fire that they had started was going to catch a house or a tree or something. 'Cause
Well, that sounds like a good
they'll
time,
have
actually.
fires that
Yeah.
are 20 foot tall. When they first light them, you're like, "Oh, this is going to burn Chicago down."
Yeah. All right.
But so far,
These guys think they're in the desert or something? I don't know what's going on there.
it's just part of it. It's
All right,
always been
okay.
huge fires.
It gets
and
wild.
loud parties.
I didn't know that.
And loose women. No, I don't know if that part's true or not at all. But,
Maybe the mayor of Wana will show up.
Well,
There'll be some wood burning.
Hold on, Mayor Wana?
Yeah.
Is that the mayor of Cottage Hills,
Yeah, I
Mayor
think so.
Wana?
I think
Yep.
it will be that day.
That would be
They
awesome.
have cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese.
There's a lot of cottage cheese there.
I heard that they were gonna have like the old water dunking thing, but it's just a vat filled with cottage cheese. That's awesome.
That sounds
Spoiled.
weird.
Yeah.
actually.
That sounds
Cottage
like it's
cheese.
going to smell after a while. I hope it's
Salt.
refrigerated.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I hope they start that on
Just
Saturday.
gotta add
not
salt
Friday.
to it. Little salt and pepper.
Should be fine.
Like I was weird as a kid, and I would crumble up Cheez-Its on my cottage cheese
Nice.
and just eat it, so it's like creamy, crunchy.
First of all, you didn't have money for cheeses. It was cheese nips. Just go ahead and say
No, they were Cheez-Its. They were real.
Yeah, you did
And I always, like you always found the golden one, which was like the toasted Cheez-It, like the extra toasted one. And now they have extra toasted Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
You can just buy a whole box of them. Oh, dude, they're so good.
Yeah.
So
I
I wonder
good.
who sorts.
But do you feel like you've been kind of cheated, like like all those years where you had to search hard for that and
Mm-hmm.
just give it to these kids? Because that's how everything is. They just give it to these damn
Yeah.
kids.
I think they did a poll.
Search for the burnt cornflakes when I was a kid, and then I found out my brother was just picking scabs and throwing them in the
Oh,
The gold.
Actually true.
That was the golden ticket.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
I don't either.
Hey, yeah, I'm going to say thanks to Dibiase.
Oh, all right. Okay, yeah. Great on that note. Yeah.
Big thanks to our sponsors, Halpin Music Company. They've been with us since the day I started this show. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance been with us for years now, and somehow
Yeah, I want to say it was Bushfest or Trinity Fest that he joined.
That he joined us.
He was out there in Cottage Hills where he come up to us. So.
And he just said, this has been a religious experience, and I've got to be a part of it.
Hey,
is what happened.
Most people, when they see the magic that happens, they're like, I expected that show to just be some jackasses talking, and then they're like, it's so much more. It's stoned jackasses talking.
It's so much more jackassery than you even thought you could cram into one show. It is something.
We mentioned Halpin and Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance, but to Dave Winklewer's surprise,
Go ahead.
Alex HOOKiE also has a sponsor.
And I would like to know who that is right now.
That is Michael Crider of Farmers Insurance. There we go.
Out there by the airport.
Out there by the airport.
Pretty close to the Cottage Hills VFW.
Everybody, please support those sponsors, because without them, this radio station would never let us in the building. If we didn't have sponsors paying for this, they would change the locks the first day. So
they're like, wow, these guys.
You can't even get anybody to answer the phone. That's all I know.
Yeah.
See, this is my theory.
Go ahead.
I've been in here that Dave Winkler is referring to the fact that the phone in the front desk has been ringing since the minute he walked in the building. Now, I've been here on Wednesday nights, and that's not happening.
I
think it's only on Thursdays when me and Dennis are on the air. Somebody's calling, going, "They talk about cannabis in a good way." I just assume that's always people calling to complain about it.
It's just got to be right. That's the complaint hotline.
Well, otherwise they would give up after 20 rings.
You'd think, but since you guys don't give up, so they don't give up. It's a battle of wills.
There you go.
It's a battle of wills.
Or it could be because we have the mix now. Somebody's trying to make a request, because know when you request something on a radio station, you got to let it ring about 4,000 times.
You really do, because it's always caller 275 gets these tickets to whatever.
Caller 1,889 is going to get those tickets
to Gallagher or whatever's going on.
Right.
Whatever the kids are watching.
Have them call.
Yeah.
Request Dibiase.
Yeah, request Dibiase. We have a thumb drive right here.
Yeah, free thumb drive. Anybody who comes down in the next 10 minutes. Even though this is going to be a month delay on the taping.
But I can assure you this thumb drive will still be here.
Yeah.
And it came from Dennis, so I can't be responsible for what else might be on it.
We'll geocache it where we leave secret tips, like where it's going to be hidden somewhere in downtown Alton. Yeah. Call the pot line.
All I can really think, since he said win tickets to a Gallagher show, is that both Gallagher and Dibiase have a splash zone that you don't want to sit in.
We do.
And Shamu at SeaWorld.
Also.
And a couple of the clubs over in the east side have splash zones close to the stage. So
that's probably closer to what our splash zone is like.
That's right.
It's like that.
It's just
the drive they're talking about. I got off you guys back 2018, something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd just bring it back for fun, and say, but actually now that you're not going to take it home, I'll tell you the actual truth is there's a spy camera in there, and I was trying to find out more about you guys' connection to the Illuminati.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, here we go. I knew
want to take a name take apart the name Dibiase. D stands for devil.
Yeah, and it does actually stand for the devil.
I stands for I, and
I like the devil, and then
the last three ACE stands for Ace Frehley. No, I just skipped.
I think it actually also may stand for Ace Frehley.
There you go.
Now, doesn't the name come from the wrestler?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, there was a name before that. I can't remember what it was called, but
Nature Boy. No.
Yeah.
It was Rick Flair before Dibiase.
It was Abdullah the Butcher. Yeah, for sure.
The Iron Sheik.
Funny you mentioned Ric Flair, because I seen a wrestling match out at Civic Memorial High School where there's 30 or 40 people there, and it was Ric Flair against Ted DiBiase. They were in their prime during the...
And there was only 40 people.
There's 30 or 40 people there.
Right.
And they took it to the limit, like it was a packed house and they were in an arena.
Wow.
That's what you do.
Yeah, performer.
Fabulous.
Right.
Yeah.
Unlike us. Yeah. They take it to
Well, we take it to the limit, but there's probably about 30 or 40 less people a lot of times than that.
And then that 30 or 40 people.
Right.
Yeah, correct.
My wife won't even come anymore.
No.
He never held a national title either.
Ted DiBiase wasn't the $1 million man, whatever.
$1 million man.
Million dollar
But
man.
Iron green.
That was. I used to have one. I could look through his eye and see a long way. The little $1 million man.
Yeah, I think that's
It's a different thing.
He did reverse suplex Flair.
Did he?
There in front of us.
Nice. I think he became a preacher or something.
Wow.
15, 20 years ago or something like that.
We were heckling them. They could hear us.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't many people there.
Yeah.
And at one point, Blair picks up Ted Dibiase in a pile driver move and points over at us and goes, "You boys are next," and then drops it.
Nice.
And we thought that was the coolest thing that ever happened.
Like, let's move seats real quick.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're because when there's only that many people, you're like, those dudes are big. I think I may have made a mistake.
Hey, let's leave before the encore.
Yeah, that's correct. Let's see you, fellas. Nicely done.
Yeah.
He's looking the other way to run.
That's funny.
That's good. So that is Dibiase, also known as just Ted sometimes.
Sure.
Ted will be playing at the
Catch their
Bushfest.
TED Talk on.
It is like a TED Talk.
Welcome to TED Talk.
Oh, back to that before
Right.
the original. It was me and another guy named Dave that originally started with the the guitars and stuff. And our drummer at the time, his name was Tino. So we were DDT.
Oh.
So that's kind of like, it was just like, I was like, I'm sure, let's take a couple more pinch hits and we can think of something cooler. So it was just like Dibiase, like, it's kind of fun to say. Like, yeah, about 85% of the people that read it will not know how to pronounce it, and that's
they
been the
don't.
story from here on out.
That's kind of fun too. Like I've just picked that up even since being in here too, because it's like is Dibbles getting together tonight or like whatever.
Dibiase,
Yeah.
Isn't it
Diabase.
It
I
says
think it's
Dibble?
French.
yeah, we just
Somewhere it
just
looks like Metallica's logo.
just joked around.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's all. I'm trying to remember what the other one you guys saw. So I heard it was really good.
Dibiase,
yeah.
Dibbles.
Yeah, Dibbles was my favorite though. Yeah.
But I mean, coming up with a band name,
it
there's
sucks.
always another. I bet there's no other Dibiase band.
I think there's a rapper.
Oh.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's kind of like a
like an
beat
R&B
maker type thing, you know,
yeah.
but he's like way out in California, so
Yeah.
fuck
That
that.
don't count.
Who cares?
He's heard you.
Yeah. He's scared to come out.
Pretty sure.
East
I'm gonna
Coast,
rap over
Midwest.
this stuff.
Yeah.
He probably sampled your music.
He
might have.
murder us all.
But for a while there, like it took a while to get established. But like I would tell people, like, yeah, check us out online, and they'd be like, "You guys like just rap or something?" And I'm like, "No, like it's wrong." And I had to do my own research. And I was like, "Damn it! Like this guy, we're gonna have to change our name." So we had already came out with the
we're
EP.
gonna pay for some Google
then.
Analytics to get ourselves our search rank higher on this. And
So I actually had to talk to like an entertainment lawyer, and I was like, "So what do we do?" And he's like, "Change your name." And I was like, "I don't want to change my name." And he was like, the only thing you can do is if you ever play in the area where he's located, you have to make sure that you are your own entity. Like if you have like a tour poster, he's like, put your faces on it. He's like, make sure all your faces are on it and stuff like that. So there's never any kind of like, we're not stepping on anybody's toes, like there's no chance of him like coming after you. It's like,
There's still a chance.
Yeah, I was like, what is he going to get?
City, baby.
Yeah, he's going to get some old roaches and some
heard about Dibiase.
Gatorade bottle full of turkey juice.
I heard Dibiase's the one who shot Biggie Smalls. I don't know.
No.
Fake news.
We don't want to get in that beef.
No,
Look, if
No.
you stand in a mirror and say the name Biggie Smalls 3 times, he will appear. That's all I know.
This guy's in the Illuminati. Listen to him when he says, "Don't get in."
You don't want to get in that beef. You don't want to get. You want to know what happened there. You don't want to know.
All right, I'll back off.
All right.
But I kind
All
of
right.
want to know.
Yeah. You don't want to know.
And that is the voice of Dave Winkler,
Yes.
our Winkler. And we also got Dave Goodman missing in action. Lynn's Sapoli, I don't know.
Disciple.
Disciple.
You could be
Sapoli, I like that.
Dave Biase.
Dave Biase.
Dave
Yeah.
Could be Dave Biase.
Dave and Dave of Dibiase, they are playing again at Bushfest September 25th. Get out, that is the VFW in Cottage Hills. Where can people find this album that you're talking about? If they want to order it.
You can go online or you can contact me directly, and then that might be a quicker option.
Because you've got to put it together. You got to do it. You got to coffee it, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, so I actually just made some more covers just recently, so
So people want to
they're
get a
ready
hold
to
of you, Facebook?
yeah, just Facebook me or send me a message on Dibiase the band,
Dibiace.
AS.
ASE.
ASE. See, I spelled it wrong. See? What is this Dibiac?
Yeah, so it's just Dibiase the band at gmail.com, or you can go on our Facebook page, send a message there, stuff like that.
Now, will you personalize?
I might even hand deliver it to you if it's at a decent bar.
Yeah.
That's,
So if someone says, "I want a little extra coffee on mine,"
yeah,
no problem.
it might be a little extra something on there. Well,
That's exciting.
it's not turkey juice.
It's DNA, but not turkey.
Whoa.
Hey, that's not hot glue. All right, thanks guys for coming down and talking to us. Can't wait to see you again at Bushfest. And again, anybody interested in checking you out, go to Facebook. Dibiase, Dibiase band, Dibiase band.
The band.
DiBiase,
The band.
Yeah.
right. As opposed to all the other things that DiBiase.
Yeah,
Yep.
just search Dibiase on Facebook.
Dibiase, the
It'll come
rapper.
up. It'll come
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
When you see
DiBiase.
cool shit, just stop.
Not Dibiase,
That's us.
the cake shop.
Correct.
Not
Correct.
Dibiase.
Yeah. Right. The flamethrower.
You're
Right.
looking
Yeah.
for 4 horses.
4 horsemen.
Coming from smoke.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
With some fancy lettering on it. Yeah.
Well, there we go. Thanks again to
Thanks, guys.
Dibiase,
Yeah.
man. We will see you
Yeah.
out there. Thanks again to our sponsors, Halpin Music, Matt Van Boris of Macias Insurance, and of course, Alex Honky sponsor, Michael Crider of Farmer Insurance. Everybody, get out to Bushfest next weekend at Cottage Hills, and between now and then, get out and support some local music and art.
And bass players.
Please support some bass players. I mean, like financially support some bass players, please.
For that.
Thank you.